we're going to start by filling each cell of the tray with a seed starting mix. Now, usually I like to moisten my seed starting mix before I put it in my cells. And each seed starting mix is a little bit differently. Just going to rub it all over there. Basically just covering the cells. I like to keep my cell tray up under it, especially with my 162s. The hole's a little bit bigger, and then that way any seed starting mix that I have, I can just dump right back out into the bag. So we're going to pack it down, just to, kind of compact it down a little bit, because this is going to go down once you water it. Now, also into your seed starting mix, watch for little sticks, because you will have sticks into that. You just want to get those out of there. The Jifty, I haven't noticed much in Jifty, but I do notice it into Miracle Growth. And I do carry a 5-pound bucket over here onto the side. I keep it here filled up with seed starting mix. I usually moisten it before I fill these trays up right here. But I have noticed with the Miracle Grow that it does take in the water more so than the Jiffy. And then what we're going to do, we're going to make a small dent in the center of each cell, approximately twice as deep as a seed is long. And then we put our seed in there, and then we're going to cover them lightly with more seed starting mix. I have my variety of seeds here, my wish list here going on, and I've tried the butter crunch lettuce. It's pretty good. I do like the by Ferris Morse, the lettuce gourmet blend. I like it. You can just take and just pinch it off and, harvest it as you want to eat. So you're eating fresh. So the seeds are, when it comes to lettuce seeds, they're really small. But what I'm going to do is, since these are lettuces and they're smaller, I'm just going to sprinkle them around, and I'm not going to put 2 or 3 in here. I'm just going to sprinkle it around because I want as many of these to come up as possible. It depends on the size of the seed. So we got those. Put that right there. The next thing we're going to do is take and just put some. You can put that over it like that. Or you can take a pencil or something, and you can take and stir this, do it like that. Stir this around. I would suggest to do it both ways and see which way you like the best. See how the seeds come up. So be sure to label each cell with a type of seed that you planted, so you can keep track of your seedlings as they grow. I think what I'm going to plant, because I've never planted these and I bought the seeds, these are the lettuce prize head. It's always good to get new seeds so that you can see how well they do, how much you like them, what the taste is. And these are pretty much basically going 1/4 inch deep. So you don't want them too deep. And I'm just going to try to, since I've got about 100 seeds here. This one I'm just gonna, since I have only this, well, I got another pack, but I want to see how well these do first. And I'm just gonna, put about 3 or 4 seeds into each cell. Oops, I got too much in that one. Some of those out. And see how well they do. Now, I like seeds and such. Sprinkle some of this in here. We're not compacting it, at this point in time, because as you water, it's going to get compacted. We're just getting these seeds covered. And I've got my hand on top of this cell tray. I'm not like mashing that down. Now you can water from the bottom and let this soak up. I'm going to gently overhead water this. I'm going to take this cell tray out, and I'm going to gently water overhead. But once you, whichever way you decide to do, once you do that, because your seeds do need to be moistened, but as they grow, you'll see more of what you got. But after you plant your seeds, you want to put them into a warm, sunny spot or onto a heat mat. Most seeds germinate and grow into healthy seedlings, and they will be ready to transplant into your garden or large pot. So what I'm going to do now is get the water hose and my sprayer and give this a light water. And what I like to do is I like to let this water run through, because I always like to really moisten my mixture, my seed mix, seed starting mix, before I put my seeds in. But Miracle Grow does really good as far as saturating the water and going through. So what I want is this water to drain through and wet this mixture so these seeds start to go ahead and germinate. And I don't want to move it too much because I got my seeds in there. And that's good enough. And I'm looking to see if I see any seeds on top. I don't think I do. That might be one, but the good thing of putting a lot of seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more water in there in the bottom. Just a little bit. I really like the Haas tools because it's not as flimsy. But this is a good way of getting started if you're just starting out sowing seeds. So now we'll just take it back into the greenhouse. So there you have it. Most plants will go ahead and germinate and they'll grow into healthy plants. I like to put mine onto a heat mat, which I don't have hooked up right at the moment, but on heat mats they have a tendency to say what temperature to set it at. Usually it takes 7 to 10 days and the seeds will start to sprout up and germinate and come right on up, and then you'll be ready to plant them into your garden or into containers or into raised beds or into a greenhouse. Today we're going to show you how to plant lettuce seedlings into a raised bed or a vertical planter. This method is perfect for those who want to grow their own and fresh and healthy lettuce at home. Guys, check it out. Let's get going. Before we do that, I want to show you some stuff that a subscriber gave to me from Wilmington, North Carolina, Tim Waters. And what Tim gave me was some sweet potatoes. This is how you start to grow your sweet potato slips. So it doesn't have the name of the variety on here. It just says sweet potatoes. So that's awesome because I love some sweet potatoes. He also brought me a variety of potatoes, russet Burbank potatoes. And what I noticed in these have 4. The potatoes are bigger. These came from, I believe, Walmart, but they're bigger than they used to be. Another variety, which is they call it the blue. Some people call it purple. And these already got some eyes onto them. There is 5 potatoes in here, and this is the variety is I've been trying to get my own seedlings. I've been trying to grow, get my own potatoes so I can start growing these. I heard these were very good. I have never had them before, but what I've been doing for 2 years is try to get a good amount grown of potatoes and get some little potatoes so I can start growing my own variety. So these are called blue. The other one is called the Red Norman. Red Norman is an old-time favorite. This is a variety that I do plant, and these potatoes have lots of eyes. Now, when he gave me these, I put them in the refrigerator. So they've been in the refrigerator for about a week, and then I've took them out, and they've already got some eyes on them. So the Red Northern. And a variety that I have never planted before. So this is awesome. This is really awesome because this is a variety that I'm trying to get going. And oh, the russet Burbank. I'm looking at those and it kind of look like bacon potatoes, but then I'm not really sure. I'll have to check that out. I have never grown those either. And so that's interesting. And then the Keenaber. Keenaber is a potato I've never grown before either. So I'm so excited about this. Also, I've been trying to get fence up. This fall, I was supposed to get fence up. I've got the poles, most of them, and the wiring, and then I've got acres to fence in, and for the homestead. But he also brought me 2 rolls of this type of fencing here. It's like electric fence, and that's exactly what I need. Thank you, Tim, so much for that. So he gave me 2 of these, and what I like about this is it has this roller. This is awesome. So if you ever want to, take it up, you can take it up, you can store it, and easy to put out. So I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe when I'm doing my fencing, hopefully I'll get to it one day soon. I can put, wrap it around the type of stuff like this around this little container here, and maybe it'll make it easier for me to put up. We'll see. Now, look what he gave me. So he also, this is a furrow maker. He said it might fit my tiller. I have a rear tiller, and so that's I appreciate that so much because I'm trying to make gardening easier. So this is the stuff that was sent to me by Tim Waters from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you, Tim, so much for giving me these items here. Tons of items here. New potatoes I've never grown before. So thank you, Tim, so much for blessing me. And now let's get going to the video. First, prepare the soil into the raised bed or the vertical planter. And by loosening it with a garden fork, this is what I use, and adding some compost or some organic fertilizer to provide nutrients for the lettuce seedlings. Next, you're going to gently plant the lettuce seedlings into the soil, spacing them about 6 inches apart to allow room for growth, and pressing the soil gently around the base of the seedlings to secure them in place. So let's go over to the vertical planter. Here you'll see I've got them 6 inches apart. Some of them might be a little bit closer, but this is lettuce gourmet. And so when it grows, what I do is I pinch it off and I have it for my salads. And so I love this variety because it's continually growing. The more you pinch off, the more it grows. And I just come out here to the greenhouse and get some lettuce and make a salad. So let's go to the vertical planter. So the vertical planter is 6 tiers. 5 tiers. The top up there is 6. That is your where you put the water in. I like to also take my sprayer and water each section. Here you see I've got my lettuce ready. These were grown by seeds. I like to use a popsicle stick to help get them out. So my soil has already been amended. I got this tool here. I didn't think I would really like this tool, but it's great for planting seedlings. I've already got my holes made, and I just stick it into the soil and wiggle it back and forth, and it makes the perfect little hole, just about perfect. If you need to go back in there, do it again according to the size of your roots system. So now it's ready to put my plants in there. But if you plant a lot of seedlings, invest in one of these. I've used this into the garden. It's really fast and easy. I really like this. I've had it for a year, and like I said, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really do love it. So here you see the healthy lettuce. This is my popsicle stick. Now I like to use the Hollis trays, but since I was just not planting a whole lot, I decided to use these trays. It has a little tray at the bottom, but they're more flimsy. So what I do is I just take and stick my popsicle stick in there and scoop it out. I do this and hold it at the same time. There we go. Check that out. Look at that good root system. So I'm going to lay this tray down. I don't want to drop it. So the next thing, since I've got my little homemates already made, and this soil has been amended, I use from the big box stores some garden soil, garden mix that already had fertilizer into it. I also, where I put it at the top, because there was soil already in here from last year, and I took and I put cow manure in there, and then I topped it off with the garden mix with 9 months fertilizer. So since my hole is already made, and well, I need to make it just a little bit bigger, because like I said, it depends on your root system. So these are definitely ready to get into the plant. Or should I say the planter? They're ready to plant. So you're limited on space, maybe into an apartment or something like that. I love my vertical planter. Last year I had strawberries in my planter, and I really did love it. So you're just gonna, you got your hole made, you're gonna gently push that soil around, push it around the plant, press it in gently to help get the air out and get that soil compacted. Not say compacted really hard, but around that root system. Now, all I'm going to do now is continue putting these in the planter. So, recap. This has last year's soil into it, so I want to make the use of my soil. And so it's got last year's soil into it. And then I put some cow manure in there, a big scoop of cow manure. And then I put the garden mix in there that has a 9-month fertilizer. So we've got our plant. And then it depends on your root system here, how big your hole is going to be. And this is our little tool here that's already, got a hole here, but it spaces it out so I can put my little seedling plant in here. And then I'm just going to stick it in there. Look how it sticks in there. Perfect. I mean, absolutely just perfect. And then I'm going to take the soil. Now my little seedlings, I like to water them before I do this. So they got some good watering going on right here. With my little popsicle stick, it causes less transplant shock. And so all I'm going to do is take this soil here and mash it around it to get that soil to those little roots there so they can just reach out and start growing. So now all I got to do is do this again. I'm going to get my popsicle stick, grab me a little sealant here. See how it just comes out so fast. And then I've got my little hole here. That one looks like the dirt has fell down in it, so I'm going to take my little tool here. And I love this tool. I just didn't think I would like it, but I really do love it. And then we're going to take our little plant here, a little seedling. We're going to stick it in there, and then we're going to gently put that soil around there, and we're going to mash it down, give it soil to soil contact, get all the air out. And so now what I'm going to do is continue putting some lettuce in there, and then we're going to water it. So let me go ahead and put this rest of this lettuce in there, and then we'll water it. I want to show you how I'm going to water it here, since these are little seedlings, and then I want to show you the top where I'm going to water it as they get bigger. and all this lettuce is sticking out here. Make sure that this root system gets enough water. Oh, I see one that I missed up there. Before we water this, I picked these up at a big box store. I pretty much always grow mine from seeds, but this is romaine lettuce, leaf lettuce, which is a variety that I didn't get around planting the seeds. So we're going to go ahead and plant these little babies, look how big they are, into our vertical planter. And these are put out by Bonnie. And so we're going to just mash around there and see if we can loosen these roots up and then gently take it out. Whoa, look at that root system. They definitely need to be planted. Wow. So, and that little lettuce right there, I'm going to break off, get it out of the way. Wow. Does that need to be planted or what? So what I'm going to do is, gosh, they are matted. That's why I like growing mine from seeds. I'm just going to try to gently kind of, so these roots will grow out. I'm going to try to gently do this. And since we see that this is like, it looks like about a 2x2 size, we're going to have to make our holes a little bit bigger. So by saying that, I'm going to have to get over here and make room. Kind of looking at this. If the plant wasn't so big, I might be able to divide that up, but I definitely, at this size, I wouldn't try to do that. It would cause too much transplant shock. And I already got my good amount of soil in here because once I water this, it's going to drop down. Take my hand. This root system. Definitely got to go a little bit deeper. I guess because I'm so used to growing my own seeds or my own seedlings that I'm not used to having a plant that has a root system that looks like this. Really mad, I might break it up just a little bit more. And it's wanting to stay into a ball, so it's kind of hard to really get it into my planter. This massive roots. Move the soil and see if I can get it in there. Wow. I guess I wasn't expecting that. I'm definitely got to, it's definitely going to be ready to eat in just a little bit. So by looking at that, I don't know if I really want to plant these in here. The root system is not going to give it. I like my plants to grow as much as they want to grow. And since I can just pick this off, I just really want them to grow more than, you know, the average, I guess you say. So what I'm going to do is these right here, we're going to plant these into the raised bed. And what I'm going to do is take my other little seedlings that I have planted, lettuce seedlings, and put them into this vertical planter here. So I just dug this one up. This is my lettuce. And look at those roots. They've only been in this bed for about a week, and it's already got a good root system. So I want to get this into my vertical planter. One of the things I want you to take notice is that you see how the roots are going down? They're not into a ball. When they go into, they're wrapped around, that means they've been into those little trays too long. It should have been planted probably 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So taking that out of the vertical planter, it definitely needs to go into a raised bed. So we do the same method. We're going to just dig our little hole. Since it's got this massive root system on there that's kind of tangled around. We want to Make sure our hole is big enough. This soil has already been amended. It's got its fertilizer into it. We just stick it into the hole, and we're going to put that dirt right around it, gently mash it down, and there we have it. Now we're going to go and plant these little babies somewhere. Oh my God. Are you seeing that? Oh my God. As a gardener, it's like you really don't want to see that. You really, that's not, as a gardener, you don't want to see that. But so we're just going to try to spread those roots out. It's really not a whole, you know, it's kind of hard to break them loose because of the fact they're so matted. We're going to do our very best here. And what I noticed, this has been watered. There's hardly any soil around the roots now. It's gone. This has been watered. It's not really that wet. So anyways, time to get these things into the ground, these little babies. And so we're just going to dig our hole here. With this big size here, I really need my little shovel, but this will work. It just takes a little bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and give them some water. Now you can use a gallon container. I like to use my little sprayer. I don't put it really high. I basically just want to get some water around them. And it'll run to those roots. That root system, it just seems to be taking up all the water or just evaporating out because there's no soil there to hold in the moisture. So there's two methods that I like to use when it comes to my vertical planter here. And since it's just been filled up with soil, so this is a little bit uneven, but it's going to settle down. And so this right here will go down as soon as this soil is going to settle because it just got in here. Get a 5-gallon bucket and fill it up. And what's going to happen is that this water is going to drain through and water each section of these plants. As these plants get bigger, sometimes I like to take and just put a little bit of water in there to make sure that my soil is evenly wet there because we live into a hot, humid place here, and it gets hot and things have a tendency to dry out. When it comes to watering the vertical planter, you can take a 5-gallon bucket and water from the top. Basically, you're supposed to water from the top. As my plants are growing, sometimes I like to just water with the water hose or a little sprayer and gently get around the roots and make sure, because I live in a hot, humid climate here. I mean, it gets hot, humid, everything dries out very quickly. So I like to water around here and make sure that my little plants are getting all the water they need. I also water up here. Now my soil has just been put in here, so the top is a little bit uneven. This is going to settle down at the top. I did put more soil in here. I probably should have, but the reason of that is because I know this is going to settle, and I know it's planting time, and I want to make sure that all my plants has got all the nutrients it needs and all the soil it needs. So my fan just kicked on into the greenhouse. It's starting to heat up here. So I like to fill it up to the top. It's going to drip through and water the plants. Since I just planted these, what I'll do is I'll watch this and make sure that my soil is getting evenly moist. Now this does look like it's a little crooked here, but it's because I've just put the soil in it. And once I start watering around here, when these plants get bigger, I'm able to then what's going to happen, that soil is going to settle down. Another way that you can water your plants, as we all know, is with one of these, and that's the easiest way I know with these little plants is this little, see, I can see the soil is moving. And when it moves, I need to make sure that that soil is around that plant really good. And this is probably what I'm going to do, is go around each plant so that soil can settle down really good around the plant. Just gently pour it in there. And so, now I'm going to water the rest of this vertical planter. After planting, water your seedlings thoroughly to help them establish their root system into the soil. Make sure that you water your seedlings regularly. Make sure that you're giving plenty of fertilizer. You know, a little bit of fertilizer, a balanced fertilizer, a low fertilizer like maybe 555 or 355, or, you know, something very low. Usually I use a little bit higher fertilizer, but since you're just starting out, I have to tell you, use a low base type fertilizer. But make sure that you water your babies, water your seedlings regularly, and make sure that that soil is getting around those roots to establish those roots into the soil. Make sure that you water your seedlings regularly, especially during the dry periods. Keep the soil consistently moist. You're going to keep your eye onto your seedlings for any signs of pest or disease, and take appropriate measurements if you see any signs of pest and disease. Well, there you have it. We're planting lettuce into the raised beds, into vertical planters. You could even plant them into big containers or into hanging baskets. That would be awesome. But lettuce is very easy to grow. All you got to do is monitor their progress. It's important to monitor their progress. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Tim Walters, for all my gifts that you have given me. And thank you, lettuce, for giving me food. See you on to the next video.